Hey, how you doing? Hope you all are doing great. As you seen in the thumbnail, in this video, we are gonna see, what if Naruto got into harem with Mavis in Hotel Transylvania. This is part 1, and before getting into video, I request you to check the author of this fanfic, and show some love and support. Name of the story is, A Human in Hotel Transylvania by Mumi Mew. Do check it out. All details in description, and if you want next part of this series, please leave a like, share, and consider subscribe. Let's get into the video. Also check out Patreon for uncensored spicy content, link in description. Shock, fear, rage and concern were what Mavis feels at this very moment. The young teenage-like vampire just turned 106 today and decided to sneak out of her home/hotel to find the human village without her father's knowledge. After a long trek, Mavis comes across something that shocks her to the core. There in front of her lie a bloodied 6-year-old blonde boy, and she can see bruises and cuts all over his body. There must be some more undercaked blood and tattered clothes. She thought this poor boy was dead at first until she saw his chest moving up and down sluggishly, and the young vampire immediately kneeled down next to him, shaking his shoulders lightly, not know what to do in this situation. Hey, what happened? What happened to you? Who did that to you? She screamed, and the boy's eyes fluttered open slightly to reveal unfocused blue eyes, filled with fear. Please don't. Who hurt me? The boy shivered weakly. No more. Stop. Hurting me. I'm sorry. What? Mavis scooped him up carefully as she tried to soothe him while holding him against her chest. No, I am not going to hurt you. I'm here to help you. She don't know what to do until the hotel. Her daddy and the family friends can help. She quickly ran back to the direction of the hotel with boy in her arms. Help. He whispered weakly as if it's a foreign word. No, you lie. LL like them. L like everyone. Who? She asked hurriedly. Everyone. The boy's eyelids slowly drooped down. The villagers. Villagers. Like humans. Mavis can see the hotel in distance. Why yes, humans like you. He whispered softly, and she almost lost her footing, but she managed to keep her balance. No, little one. She said, I'm not human. I'm a vampire. Really? The boy whispered, almost hopeful. Yes, really. Mavis flashed her fangs. See? I have fangs. Humans don't have something like that, don't they? No, they don't, the boy uttered. I'm happy you're not human. Because they're bad. Always call me demon, monster. He trailed off slowly, and the worried vampire glanced down at his face, seeing that he's about to pass out. Hey, keep your eyes open. The vampire panicked. What's your name? Tell me your name. Naruto, he replied before he passed out in her arms. Hey, wake up. Mavis shook him carefully, but his eyes stay closed. Shit. She picked up her pace with frantic expression. Guys, have you seen Mavis? Dracula swiftly approached his friends with worried, nervous and concern all over his face. She wasn't in her room, and I can't find her anywhere. Have you checked the kitchen? Wayne asked. Spa. Frank hummed. The roof. Murray pointed to the ceiling. Or the closet. Griffin said before everyone looked at him oddly. What? The closet. Why should she? The vampire stuttered in confusion before he waved his arms around. Silly. I already checked everywhere. He quickly checked the closet, then back to the group, and she's not there. Where would she have gone to? Maybe she sneaked out to the human village. The werewolf said with thumb over his shoulder. What? Dracula gasped in horror. No, she won't. She promised me that she'll never go out until she's. A loud blam immediately attract their attention to the lobby's entrance and see Mavis with frantic expression. Mavis. Where have you been? He smell blood. Dad, guys, he need help. Mavis suddenly flew over to the group to show them Naruto in her arms as everyone widened their eyes at his state. Please help him. Quick, bring him to medical room. The werewolf quickly ran toward the said location while pushing the young vampire with the group in tow. What happened to him? I don't know. The vampire shook her head as she kept glanced at the injured boy. I found him in the woods like that. He said humans were hurting him, calling him names, and I tried to ask him, but he passed out. Humans. Dracula nearly tripped over his cape as they quickly enter the medical room, and Wayne immediately ordered her to place the boy on cot so he can examine and aid the child while cutting tattered clothes off, due to his job as doctor. But isn't he a human? It was very obvious to everyone it's a human child, but they don't care about race because child is still child to them. I know, Mavis said to him before she turned to the werewolf. How bad is it? Can you help Naruto? His name is Naruto. Frank said worriedly. How do you know? He told me before he passed out. The young vampire answered. It's really bad. Whoever did that to him was torturing him. Wayne grimaced at his injuries. It's a miracle he's still alive. He looked to the group. I think you guys need to go outside so I can stitch him up and everything. Frank pushed them out and closed the door. Oh, okay, get it. The Frankenstein's monster pushed everyone out so the werewolf can do his job and closed the door behind him. Did you go to the human village? Dracula spun around to face his daughter with a worried hiss. No, I was in forest. Mavis started to pace forth and back in front of door with one eye on it. Why would humans do that to a little boy? He's just 6. You always told me that humans are evil, and you're right. How would people do that to hurt a poor little boy? He's one of them, and yet. It is just how it is, the older vampire whispered, and the group remained by the door out of concern and worries. No one know how long it have been since they bought the boy to medical room under Wayne's care, and they don't have to wait any longer when the werewolf opened the door before Mavis rush up to him with rapid fire questions. How is Naruto? Is he okay now? Can we see him? He's sleeping. Wayne shushed her. I cleaned and patched him up as much as I can and he's recovering. You can go see him, but don't wake him up. Oh, okay. Mavis quickly entered the room to Naruto's side and look over him. He have a lot of bandage wraps and wear arm and leg casts. She quietly sit down on chair next to him with worries all over her face. How bad is it? Griffin whispered to the werewolf as the adults get closer to listen. Very bad. The werewolf grimaced heavily. He have been stabbed, cutting up, burned, and it look like someone have used acid. He have broken and fractured bones as if someone have been beat him up. Not just with fists but with blunt weapons. How he survived it all, I don't know. He sighed heavily as the adults looked so pale. Physically, he'll get better, but mentally, I don't know. What will happen to him after that? Murray asked them. We're not going to send him back to wherever he come from, aren't we? I don't know, Dracula said unsurely. His eyes slowly flutter open with a soft groan, and he hear a sharp gasp before he tense up as he turn his head slightly, only to relax when he recognize her from woods. Vampire lady, Naruto uttered before he coughed roughly from dry throat. Here, Naruto, drink it. Mavis quickly holds glass of water to him, pushing bendy straw to his mouth as he take it with gulps. Easy, drink it slow. Naruto give her a sl. Ow not, and she wait until he finish sipped his water. Better. She put the glass away, then smiled down at him kindly. I'm Mavis, do you know where you are? He shook his head slowly. You're in hotel, owned by my dad. And it's for monsters only. And no humans. He whispered softly with hopeful tone, resting his head down on pillow. No humans. The vampire confirmed with a small smile. Thank you, Naruto muttered after few minutes. For saving me, you're first. First for what? Mavis asked. First to help me, first one to be nice to me. No one did that for me before, the boy answered slowly as his eyes slowly drooped with few flutters. She looked so surprised by that, wondering why was he treating like that by humans and what did he do to earn that. You should rest more. The vampire placed her hand on his chest gently. Can you stay with me? Naruto asked sleepily, almost sound like pleading. Yes, I will. Mavis tucked him gently and the boy gives her another slow nod before he falls asleep. I'll always be there for you. The next 2 weeks were very anxious and jittery for Hotel Transylvania and Naruto, but Mavis was able to calm and ease him in. There were few incidents when Naruto was recovering in medical room. The first one was when Wayne stopped by to give the little boy a checkup and he suddenly screamed out with flailing arms when the werewolf picked up scalpel knife to cut the stitches for removal. The boy thought he was going to be attacked until Mavis quickly calmed him down and hold his hands, promising him that the werewolf wasn't going to harm him while the said monster carefully take stitches out. Second incident was when Dracula show up and Naruto thought he was a human, freaking out with hollers and scream until the young vampire hugged him to calm him down and told him that Dracula was also a vampire. She even told her father to transform into vampire bat and show the fangs as proof. Third incident occur often when Naruto wake up with screams because he had recurring nightmare of his attacks and Mavis often scoop him up onto her laps then rock him to sleep while shushing and hum a soothing tune. She would sometime end up sleeping in the cot with Naruto curling up on her side. The news of Human Boy and his situation have spread everywhere within Hotel Transylvania and the monsters went out of their ways to deliver get-well gifts and cards to the boy. Wanda and Eunice sometime would look after Naruto while Mavis have to left the medical room for personal business or to get something for them to eat. Right now, Mavis was reading a bedtime story to the boy. And they all lived happily ever after. She closed the children book, the end. She smiled down to him, time to sleep. Okay, Naruto yawned. Good night, Naruto. The smiling vampire tucked him in. Good night, the boy fall asleep with a mutter, Mommy. Oh. Mavis gasped softly as she looked down at the snoring boy before a smile break out on her face and she peck his forehead lightly then quietly left the room. She move over to the lobby then look around until she find her father and the young vampire walk up to him, having made a decision. Dad. Oh, Mavis. Dracula smiled widely at his daughter. Is little one sleeping well? Yes, I just put him to sleep. Mavis replied before she bit her lower lip, can I ask you something? When Naruto get all better, can he stay here with us? For good. I don't want to send him back to horrible place with humans. She said, humans, with venom, she have give up on socializing with humans and now believe them to be bad like her father. The only human that she like and care about is Naruto and Dracula was perfectly fine with that. He even accept Naruto because in his eyes, he's a innocent child who don't deserve to be with humans. In fact he was hopping around like hyper kid in candy shop when he found out that Mavis gave up on her dream. Yes, he can stay with us for good. The older vampire nodded, there is absolutely no way I am sending him out there to be with his kind. Great. The young vampire clapped her hands together with beaming smile, I'll do my best to raise Naruto as my child. She pecked her father's cheek then ran out back to the boy's side, thank Dad. You're welcome, Ma. Dracula smiled beamingly before his eyes widened with dropped jaw. Wait, what? Whoa, you're a grandpa now. Murray popped up at his side with wide grin. Congrats, man. Frank grinned widely. Oh, boy, I heard it's quite joyous to have a grandchild. Griffin said happily. Yeah, isn't it nice? Wayne patted his friend's shoulder with a smile. I'm too young to be grandpa. The vampire screeched with hands on his head. How did his precious daughter come to this decision? It's too fast, too fast. The poor shocked vampire pass out and his friends look over him with few blinks. Guess he's overjoyed by the news. The mummy said with fists on his hip and the monsters nod their heads before he look up to them. Hey, we should convert one of rooms into Naruto's room. What do you think? Oh, yes, we can do that with one room near Mavis' room. The invisible man agreed and the monsters walk upstairs, leaving the fainted vampire behind on lobby floor. Mavis smiled down to her now adopted son, Naruto, as he slowly get out of the medical bed nervously and he immediately cling onto her leg as if he was afraid that she'll disappear on him. The vampire strokes his hair gently to ease his worry before she look up to Wayne. Does he have clean bill of health or is there anything I need to know and watch out for? He have clean bill of health. Wayne nodded, however. There must be some lingering effects of his injuries so you should keep your eyes on him to make sure nothing happen and if anything does, give me a call right away. He'd pick a small bag then hand it over to her. These are the medicals for him that he need to take for a while, please follow the directions on the paper inside. Will do. Mavis nod her head once before she turn her gaze down to Naruto as she hold her hand out to him, ready to go. The boy glances at the door nervously before he slowly reach out for her hand. Naruto nod timidly as he holds her hand tightly and she close her hand around his small hand. It feel big, soft and cold, yet warm. Come on. The vampire smiled kindly down to him before she opened the door and the new moth. Our son pair walk out into a hallway as the boy move closer to her leg while glancing around nervously at the new surrounding. Are you hungry? Do you want me to make you something? Naruto quietly shake his head and she wasn't sure which question he answered to because she asked two different questions in one sentence. Okay, Mavis tried to think what to do until she remembered something as she looked down to him again with a happy gasp. Oh. Right, I'd better show you your new room. You're going to love it. She led him to the staircase, walking up the steps and several floors. There weren't a lot of people out because it's morning and most guests tend to sleep in. He looked a little exhausted by walking many steps. Hold on. Mavis halted her walking to pick him up, adjusting her hold until he was sitting on her right forearm with another hand around his back to prevent from dropping him as he wrapped his arms around her neck with head on her shoulder. Better? She asked, resuming climbing up the stairs and Naruto nodded timidly as he half buried his face in her nape. It takes some time until she reached the top floor and she walked down the hallway until she stopped in front of a door then put her son down. Naruto held his hands up in air to her for few moments as if he want to stay in her arms before he slowly retreat them timidly, casting his eyes down and the vampire bent down to lift his chin up so they can look into each other's eyes. Ready to see your room. She smiled and he just blinked as the vampire stand up to open the door, revealing the bedroom for the first time. The bedroom turns out to be a luxury suite with bathroom like Mavis and it have some basic furniture from wardrobe closet to king-size bed. Naruto see many toys piling up in one corner with chest and some stuffed animals on the bed. A large fuzzy orange rug under a low table and few other things. Everyone was very kind that they bought clothes for you. Mavis zoomed over to the dresser, pulling one drawer out to pick few shirts up with a grin before she looked at their sizes. Although, I think some might be little too big or tight for you so you should try them on later. She stowed them back inside then moved to the toy chest. Oh. And they even buy toys for you. She'd pick up a very old game board, along with some of my old stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun playing with these. She quickly opened the bathroom's door. Here is your bathroom. You can use it for, she giggled sheepishly, well, you know what's it for. She pointed at the door across his room in the hallway. Over there is my room, so yo. You know where to find me at night if you need me for something. She quickly turns to Naruto with clasped hands as she smiled at him. So, what do you think? Do you like your room? It's all F for me. Naruto whispered softly as he looked around timidly before he looks down at his feet. Really? Yes, really. The vampire smiled widely. I never have 01L like this 001 before. He fidgeted with a stutter. No. Mavis said, what was your old room like? Naruto's shoulders tensed with some tremble and she quickly changed the topic right away after noticing it, decide to never bring anything about his past up again. Never mind. Let's get you changed and we can go down for some snacks if you're hungry now. Okay. Oh okay, mommy, Naruto muttered before he whipped his head up with widened eyes. I'm sorry. I mean Mavis. Don't be sorry. She crouched down with a beaming smile at his eye level. You can call me mommy, after all you're my son now. The boy's eyes widened, in many mixed emotions ranging from shock to hopeful. Really? You're my mommy. Mavis' smile widened as she nodded. Yes, I am, unless you. She almost get knocked back over when Naruto suddenly lumped her with his arms around her neck as he buried his face in her shoulder then he cried, which caused her to quickly wrap her arms around him while rocking him. What's wrong? What's wrong? She asked, worriedly until he spoke up with some sniffles. I never had a mommy before, Naruto sobbed. Oh, Naruto. Mavis tightens her hug as she nuzzles the top of his head with her cheek. You do now. He hugged for a while until she gently moved him back with a smile and she booped his nose lightly with index finger, drawing a very tiny smile from him. Naruto rubbed the bottom of his orange shirt with his index finger and thumb while examining it as his other hand held onto his mother's hand. They were walking to the dining room on the first floor and he stayed very close to her legs, which make it a little difficult for the vampire to walk normal but she don't mind it. They were about to enter until they hear someone greet them. Hello, Mavis, Naruto. Mavis looked over to her right to see her approaching them with a smile as the blonde boy hid behind her legs. I hear the little one is up and around now. He glanced down at the boy friendly. How are you? The boy barely peeks at him before he shoves his face into the back of his mother's legs, clenching them for life. It's okay, Naruto. Mavis said down to him as she bent down while move her legs slightly apart to look into his eyes. Do you remember him? He timidly nodded his head slowly. That's my dad, your grandpa. GG grandpa. Naruto peeked out under her legs to the older vampire before he quickly hides his face in the back of Mavis' right leg as soon as Dracula give him a smile. I see someone's a little shy. Dracula said with a light chuckle. His brain still can't wrap around the fact that he's a grandpa now and to a human. That would take some time for him to get around it, but he'll do it for his daughter's sake. Yup, and it's understandable why. The young vampire placed hand on top of her son's head, stroking gently as Naruto leaned closer to her. We're going to eat something, do you want to join us? She asked to change the topic. I'd love to, but I can't right now. The older vampire shook his head. I have a lot of work to do today. Maybe next time. Okay, Daddy, see you later. Mavis waved to her father as he walked past them with his own wave before she take Naruto's hand again with a smile. Come on, let's go inside. They enter the dining room and Naruto glanced around at many tables before he moved closer to his mother nervously when he sees some early riser monsters receiving their foods at the buffet table. The strangers make him very nervous until he feel a hand patting his head gently. It's okay, Naruto, no one is going to hurt you. His mother smiled kindly, I promise. Oh okay, Naruto looked up to her as they approach the buffet table and he can't see the top even if he's on his toes before Mavis pick him up, placing him on her right arm and shoulder. See anything you like? She asked. Ed and the boy examined many different foods in fascination as if he has never seen them before. He mutely pointed at scrambled eggs before she pointed at it, this one. You want some scrambled eggs? Naru. To nod once as she scoops some onto both plates, one for you and one for me. What else? I don't know, he said quietly. How about pancakes? Mavis asked. Pancake. Naruto repeated slowly, glanced up to her confusingly. Pancake. You never have one before. She corrected and asked him at same time and the blonde timidly shake his head once before she take some pancakes. Well, try them and you'll love them. The vampire place few more foods on the plates as the blonde boy rest his head on her shoulder and play with her hair while glancing between her and the plates. Have finished making her selection. Mavis carefully picked both plates up while holding her son then walked to a table as some monsters politely clear her path and she set the plates before she sit down, placing Naruto next to her at left side. She reaches out for the syrup bottle and pours it onto the pancakes before she give her son plastic fork and knife, eat up. Naruto clumsily cut his pancake then slowly take a bite as she watch him eating with a smile. Is it good? Uh-huh. The blonde boy nodded once while chewing his food, leaning his head on her side and Mavis massage his scalp gently as she start to eat her breakfast with her free hand. Was the foods yummy? Mavis asked her son with a smile as they left the dining room. Yes. Naruto nodded before he looks up to her. Where are we going? Well, she hummed thoughtfully. We are going back to your room and find something that you want to do, okay? She want to make him feel comfortable as possible as she can and she noticed that he get very nervous when many guests show up. He even almost panic when the chef come out with cooking knife until Mavis place him on her laps, hugging him as he bury his face in her chest while Frankenstein and Murray push the hunchbacked chef back inside the kitchen. It's better to take him back to his room or to her room for time being. Okay. He replied and they make their way back up to his bedroom. When they enter, he went to the bedside table to get the book then returned to Mavis as he hold it up slowly to her. Mommy Naruto asked shyly, will you read me this book again? Yes, of course I will. Mav. Take the book from him with a smile as the blonde's face lit up and she sit down on rug with crossed legs, allow her son to crawl onto her then curl up against her. Let's see where we left off at. She flipped through pages until she find it then read it out loud to Naruto and he listened to each word. She have overhear a bit about a human boy from her ma and pa like that he got hurt by bad humans. That no one should bring it up around him and that he is now living in this hotel with big sister Mavis as his ma. She really don't know much about this human boy because she have never seen him for 2 weeks but all she know is that her ma set up a playdate between her and this boy with Mavis because she know how not to play rough unlike her siblings, which is important since this boy can't get hurt really bad again. She looked up to her ma as soon as the adult knock a door and Mavis opened it before the vampire smile at them. Hiya, Wanda, Winnie. Mavis greeted the werewolves. Hello, Mavis. Wanda smiled to her surrogate niece. How is Naruto? He's doing good. The vampire glanced down at her legs and the werewolves notice a tuft of blonde hair peeking out behind her legs. Still little shy, you know. Ah, I understand. The older werewolf nodded understandingly before she looked down to her daughter. Winnie, Mavis will look after you for few hours while I go down with your pa for our anniversary dinner, so be good and play nice. Okay. Winnie replied and Mavis take a step aside to allow the little werewolf in before the vampire look up to Wanda. I'll take good care of Winnie. So please go enjoy your dinner and happy anniversary. Mavis said. Thank you, don't hesitate to call for us if anything come up. Wanda smiled to her before she leave with a bye and the vampire close. Say the door then turned to Winnie as Mavis bent down to her son. Naruto, I want you to meet Winnie, she's Wayne's and Wanda's daughter. The vampire smiled kindly as she gently pushes Naruto out behind her back. Winnie, that is Naruto. Hi. Winnie waved once. Hello. Naruto replied timidly as he held onto his mother's side, glancing up and down her appearance. He has never seen her before but one can blame him because he has been staying in medical room for week then in his bedroom for 3 days. Winnie is going to play with you. Mavis patted his head gently. Why don't you go and show her your toys? The blonde boy gives her a small nod and he slowly makes his way to the toy chest with Winnie in tow. What do you? The blonde fidgeted nervously after he opened the chest up. Want TT to see first. Do you have balls? Winnie peeked inside the chest then shift her gaze to him. I like balls. Why yes, I have some. Naruto moves some toys away to reveal several various balls at bottom. Let's play catch with this one. The werewolf picks a small blue ball up with a squeak and she places it into the boy's hand. He looked at it then up to her unsurely. You throw it anywhere. The blonde turned to look to his mother and Mavis gave him an encouraging nod before he turned back to Winnie then slowly throw the ball at random direction. Suddenly, Winnie run after the bouncing ball. On her fours and she catch it with her mouth like a dog then she run back to Naruto, dropping the drool-covered ball into his hand. Throw it again. Winnie bounced with wagging tail and the blinking boy glanced between her and ball in his hand few times before he throw it, watching the werewolf jumping around with more blinks. They continue to play catch for a while until the vampire speaks up. Guys, how about we play something else different? Mavis place a snakes and ladders game board on floor, want to give the kids a chance to talk to each other. I want to catch more. Winnie whined with her tail down. We can play it later. The blonde pat her head in attempt to cheer her up. If you want to. Okay. The young girl perked up with wagging tail as the children start playing the game board. What's your favorite color? I like pink and black. Naruto glanced at his orange rug as he moved his piece up a ladder. Oh, orange. Oh. Winnie hummed as she tossed dices. Why do you like it? I don't know. I just like it. He answered. Do you like picture books? I like this book mommy read to me every day. I guess so. The werewolf replied thoughtfully. Mavis your ma, right? Naruto nodded. Lucky. That mean you got to live in a castle all the time and can do a lot of fun things all the time. Like making cannonball in big pool and playing hide and seek in many rooms. What's cannonball? Naruto looked at her curiously. And hide and seek? You never play hide and seek before. Winnie looked surprised. It's really fun game. You have to find a good hiding plaque. Eat a hide in so you don't get catch by the seeker. You lose if the seeker find you, or you win if you're a seeker. If you're it, you have to find all hiders. Oh, it sound like fun, he said slowly and unsurely. We can play it after this one. The werewolf said as her piece slid down the snake. What else do you like? The kids talk about random things and anything that pop into their heads while playing the board game and Mavis smile at the sight. She wonder if that's how her father feel when he watch her playing with guests kids when she was little. Did you have fun today? Mavis asked her son as she tucked him in his bed. Yeah. Naruto nodded with a small bubbly smile. Winnie said we're friends now and she's my first one. I never have one before. Can I play with her again tomorrow? Yes, you can. She chuckled lightly. fluffing his pillow before she kissed his forehead. Good night, Naruto, I love you. Night, mommy, I love you too. The boy yawned slightly before he fidgeted with his blanket. Mommy, can you stay with you tonight? Mavis finished his question as the boy nodded nervously before she slipped under the blanket, kicking her shoes off, and she pulled Naruto into her arms. Yes, I will. Naruto had a worst nightmare last night and he was so terrorized that he run into her room late at night without any warning, waking her up when he crawled into her bed. Without saying anything, she allowed him to sleep in her arms and he didn't tell her about his dream, but she suspected it must be related to his attack. Comfortable? She asked him. Naruto snuggled close to his her with a yawn as his eyelids drift down. Night, mommy. Night. She kissed his forehead again and she watches him sleeping as she slowly joined him. Lately, Naruto have become little more energetic and less, Murray laughed lightly as he watched a large lump shuffling under Dracula's cape while the smiling vampire walked slowly, shushing some curious monsters from pointing it out. Yeah, it has been almost a month since Mavis found him. Griffin nodded as the said vampire appeared next to her father while pretending to look around with a small smile. She has been doing well raising him so far. Plus Winnie did her part helping him indirectly by playing games and doing things together. Make me wonder if having friends can heal him faster. Frank thinks deeply as Mavis asked her father. Or if he have seen his grandson, and the older vampire shrugged his shoulders playfully. Maybe we can. I'll talk to Eunice about that and see how it'll turn out. Single quote. More friends, huh? The invisible man bet his chin and the mummy looked thoughtful. Wayne's family had left the hotel couple days ago and poor boy was bawling his eyes out because his first and best friend have to go until she promised him that she'll come back on the next vacation, which her family always does. And Mavis suddenly flipping the cape over to reveal Naruto before she'd pick him up then tickled him silly as he laughed out loudly while squirming around. Gotcha. The adults can't help but to smile at the sight. The hotel look almost so empty due to off-season and there are only few guests around, which make Naruto feel very comfortable enough to wander around a bit without his mother. Naruto dribbling a big ball down the hallway as he kept his eyes on the ball and he turned around a corner, suddenly bump into a person. They nearly trip down as the ball bounce away from Naruto before a person regains the balance and grab his shoulder to support him up. Oh, I'm sorry, are you okay? The person asked with concern and Naruto look up to see a tall young girl. She have a lavender skin, long puffy purple hair, green eyes, fangs, and she wear long dark purple dress with knee-high slit, red sash high up around her stomach and pair of red flat shoes. Why yes, I am. Naruto take a couple steps back nervously as he fidgeted with his hands. I'm sorry, I should have watched where I. It's okay, it's not your fault. She said kindly. You don't know that I was coming up behind this corner, it happens to everyone all the time. She look over him. My name is Sabella and you are? Naruto. The blonde answered. Oh, you. Read this. Sabella clapped her hands together in realization. She has heard a lot of rumors about a human living in this hotel and she don't know the details, but one thing she know is that he have been adopted by a vampire. The daughter of the hotel's owner. When her family come to this hotel for 2 weeks staying for her relative's wedding, Dracula inform her family there is a human boy living here and tell them not to be alert by that. It's fantastic to meet you, Naruto. Fantastic. Naruto blinked confusingly. And nice to meet you too. What were you doing in hallway with this ball? Sabella picked his ball up. Playing. He answered. By yourself. The young vampire blinked with arched brow. With no one. Mommy and Grandpa are busy with work, Naruto replied timidly, and my friend is not here. Sabella hummed. If it's okay, may I play with you? Really? He lit up. Why you want to play with me? Of course. She nodded. Okay. Naruto chirped. Does that make us friends? She gave him another nod. Want to play catch or? Yes, let's play it. Sabella tossed ball to him and he passed it back to her, talking a bit in between about each other. A couple days later, Naruto was wearing an orange swim pant and black t-shirt as he sit on lounge chair at poolside with his mother, waiting for his new friend to show up. All done. Mavis smiled proudly to herself after she finished inflated pool tube and water wings. Let me put those on you. She put wings on the boy's arms. How is it? Too tight. A little, but it's okay. He smiled up to her. Good. The mother messed his hair up with a smile. Do you want to go in water now or wait for Sabella? Wait for Sabella, Naruto said happily with swinging legs, and Mavis smiled at him. She's glad that he befriends Sabella because the young Vampire always say kind things and complimenting him almost on everything, which boost his self-esteem in short time. The boy looked around until he noticed something in the pool and he turned his head curiously to see a pair of teal eyes and wet heap of blonde hair with some blue streaks floating at the poolside as the owner stare at him. Naruto tilt his head at that and the owner lift its head up then spit water at his face. Giggling as he wiped his face with some stutters. Gotcha. The owner of teal eyes giggled at him. Hiya. The owner reveals to be a young girl around his age as she waves her webbed hand to him. Wanna play? Be my friend. What's your name? I'm Laguna. She has long hair, blue scales skin, fins on her limbs and freckles under her eyes. She wear blue and black one-piece swimsuit. I'm Naruto. The boy said slowly. Why yes, we can be friends, but I can't play now because I'm waiting for Sabella to come. Okay, cool. Laguna propped her chin on the edge of pool with a grin. Do you like playing in pool? I do. Because it's fun in water. I have one at home but it's not big like this one. I don't know. Naruto poked his fingers. I only went into pool one time with mommy so I can learn how to swim. I'm not really good at swimming. That's okay, I can show you how to be a good one. The sea monster smiled lopsidedly. I'm the best swimmer. Really? The boy blinked as Laguna bobbed her head merrily and before he can say anything else, Sabella show up in purple one-piece swimsuit. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Sabella said before she noticed the sea monster in the pool. Oh, hello. My name is Sabella and you are? Her name's Laguna and she want to play with us. Naruto introduced the sea monster. Well, the more the merrier. The young vampire smiled as she dipped into the pool with her human friend. Do you have a game in mind? Water fight. Laguna splashed waters at her new friends with a laughter and they fling waters back at her as Mavis watched them with a giggle, soaking her legs first. Her son ended up dragging her in to join the water fight. Grandpa, can I ask you something? Naruto asked. What is it, and Naruto? Dracula grunted out with some struggling breath. The reason why he have hard time getting words out is because his grandson was lying flat on his cape like a blanket and it act as a magic carpet by pulling him around. When I get bigger, will I own the hotel like you and mommy? The boy tilts his head up to stare at the back of the vampire's head. Oh, you want to run hotel, like your grandpa and mom? The vampire grinned. Yeah, I want to help. Naruto stretched his arms up. Can I? Yes, someday when you get older enough to help out. Dracula replied happily and his grandson make a cheering noise. Grandpa. The boy crossed arms on his stomach. Yes. What's zing? He asked innocently and it almost make Dracula trip over his feet with some stutter. Where do you hear this word? Dracula stuttered with darting eyes. He always find it awkward to explain love to children, even to his daughter when she was an ankle biter. I heard someone talking about someone else and they keep saying zing a lot. Naruto held his fingers out, like a lot. The vampire struggled to find the right words to explain to a little boy, special feeling that you have for a special someone. Love, you know. Oh, like how I love mommy and you. The boy said innocently. Yeah, like that but more special. Dracula said, you have to zing with someone very, very, very special. Your soulmate. And zing can only be done once in your lifetime. What's soulmate? Naruto asked curiously, and how do I zing with this person? The vampire sweated before he makes a good decision. Ask your mother. Just push it off to someone else. Okay. Naruto get off Dracula's cape and run off to find his mother. It don't take long enough until the vampire hears some crash, following by, what? Shouting and Dracula quickly pick up his pace to avoid his daughter for few hours. It's the first day of vacation season and Mavis can't help but to giggle at her exciting son as he cling onto her leg while glancing at the entrance from time to time. How long, mommy? Naruto asked. Maybe in few minutes or hours, but they said they'll come today. Mavis stroked his hair with a smile and the doors suddenly slam open, following by barking and grow. WLS before the children of werewolves run wild around too tired parent is a certain werewolf run over to glomp Naruto. Naruto. Winnie hugged him with wagging tail, I'm back, like I promise. Yeah, Naruto hugged back, I can't wait to play with you again. Oh, and my new friends came yesterday for vacation too and I can't wait to introduce you to them. Oh, what are they like? The werewolf tilted her head and her tail wagged faster at the idea of playing with new people. Before Naruto can open his mouth, his other friends approach them from behind. Hello, you must be Winnie that Naruto told us about. Sabella gave the said werewolf a kind smile before she gestured to herself then to Laguna, my name is Sabella and that is Laguna. Hiya. Laguna waved. Hi. Winnie waved back, I'm Winnie, his best friend. She was about to say more until several familiar adults show up to greet the kids with some unfamiliar faces. Hey, everyone. Frankenstein grinned to everyone before he turned to Naruto, I'm glad to see you doing well. You even made some new friends. Yes, Uncle Frank, I did. Naruto nodded few times. Since you're making friends, I have someone to introduce you to, the Frankensteins. Monster stepped aside to reveal a girl around their age, that is Mai and Eunice's daughter, Frankie. Say hello. Hi. Frankie said shyly as she held onto her father's pant leg, she have light green skin with many stitches. Long white and black hair, right blue eye, left green eye and pair of giant bolts on side of her neck. She wear a blue dress with blue flats shoe and dozen colorful hair clips that keep her bangs aside. And that is my niece, Toru. Griffin nudged his glasses to a floating small clothes next to him. Sup. Toru waved cheerily, she wear a pink shirt with black long sleeves, blue frilly skirt with black shorts under and pair of white shoes. Here's my daughter, Mokunai the 11th. Murray grinned proudly with his hands on a girl's shoulders as she looked annoyed, I hope you kids will get along with her. Get your dirty gross hands off me. Mokunai tried to push the mummy's hands off, you're getting sands all over me. She has a light dark skin, red eyes and long black hair. She wears bandage wraps all over her limbs, calasiris that end at around her ankles and pair of golden sandals. I hate you. She's going through a phase, he. The older mummy sheepishly as most adults stare at him with some amused expression. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen Frankie and Mokunai for a while and they're bigger now. Mavis smiled down to the said girls, do you remember me? No, the young mummy said bluntly with crossed arms. A bit, Frankie said timidly. Nice to meet you all. Naruto said somewhat timidly, we're going to play hide and seek, do you want to join us? Yeah, Toru hopped. Okay, whatever. Mokunai turned her nose up with a whip of her hair, if you do anything bad to me or embarrass me, I will curse you forever. Sure, I'd love to play. Frankie fidgeted with her helm and the children run off without saying a word to the adults. That went pretty well. Dracula appeared with a chuckle while greeting his regular and new guests. Yeah, Wayne agreed before he tapped his chin, I'm surprised to see that Naruto made 2 new friends while we were gone. And he did it on his own. Mavis said proudly, he's getting better. Thanks to you. Wanda smiled. Daddy helped. The vampiress glanced to her father with a smile. A tiny wee bit. The vampire pinched the empty air, you did the most work. Indeed. Eunice clapped her hands, anyway. Have you taken some pictures for the album? I want to see it. And we gotta show you what we got. Both older women drag the wide-eyed vampiress away so they can gush over their children and the men stare at them then to each other. Women. The invisible man laughed lightly, earned some eye rolls from his friends. Everyone tuck in. Mavis asked the children with a smile as the kids lie inside their sleeping bag in a circle. Facing each other. Naruto and his friends decide they should have a sleepover so they can play all day and night until their bedtime. Everyone confirmed in their own way, good night, everyone. She crouched down to kiss her son's forehead, sleep well, I love you. Night, mommy. Naruto replied with a smile. Night, Mavis. The girls replied and the vampiress exit T. He bedroom then closed the door after turning the light off, leaving a nightlight on. Okay, she's gone. Toru turned over on her front with an unseen grin, who want to tell scary story? No scary story. Frankie squeaked nervously. Aw, come on. The invisible girl whined. Scary story is stupid. Mokunai said uninterestingly with her chin on plopped arm. And boring. Laguna said, we should sneak out and play in pool, it's empty. No. We are not allowed to go out because it's bedtime. Sabella shook her head as the sea monster pouted childishly, we can go tomorrow. Play catch. Winnie asked, or we can howl at the moon. Oh, how about build a fort so we can all sleep together? Naruto suggested. Yes, build a fort. The mummy sits up, I demand it to be majesty. Okay. The giggling sea mon. Pull Frankie out of her sleeping bag, come on, let's get the pillows. I'm gonna sleep next to my best friend. The werewolf tossed her sleeping bag next to Naruto's sleeping bag and the children start to build a fort with blankets. Chairs and pillows then crawl inside to sleep next to each other. Thanks for watching guys. Hope you all are enjoyed this video. If you do please leave a like, share and subscribe, also don't forget to support author of this fanfic. So let's end this video here. Until then, see you in next video.